Hi, I'm Glenn Geller from Beaverton, Oregon. Gordon Smith likes to present himself as a moderate Republican fighting for the little guy, but his voting record says otherwise. On issues important to working families in Oregon and the rest of America, Smith nearly always votes in favor of big business and the wealthiest Americans at the expense of working-class families. Years after voting to authorize George Bush's invasion of Iraq, Smith says he's had a change of heart and no longer supports the occupation. But since then, he has voted 4 times in favor of continued funding for the occupation to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. And those hundreds of billions are not even in the military budget, but are loans from countries like China and Saudi Arabia. Loans that accrue millions in interest every day, a debt the next generation of working Americans will have to repay. Smith voted twice against increasing the minimum wage and helping America's poorest workers rise above the poverty line. And he voted against the Employee Free Choice Act that would allow workers a simple way to organize without fear of employer retribution. Smith voted against Medicare negotiating with pharmaceutical manufacturers to get the best possible bulk prices for drugs purchased under the Medicare Part D prescription drug plan. Coincidentally, the pharmaceutical companies are enjoying record profits. Smith has voted twice against raising fuel economy ratings for cars and light trucks, twice against curbing greenhouse gas emissions, and against reducing oil imports from overseas oil companies. He voted twice against windfall profit taxes on big oil companies, in line with George Bush. This is at a time when oil companies are seeing the highest corporate profits in the entire history of the world. But Smith voted for the bankruptcy bill that makes it harder for the average person to file for bankruptcy protection, even for extraordinary medical expenses, while preserving those protections for the wealthy and big corporations. The fact is, Gordon Smith votes with George Bush about 90% of the time, even when the majority of Oregonians want him to vote otherwise. That could explain why Smith is seeing about 30% job approval rating now. Oregon and America can't afford a senator that's a puppet to George Bush and big business at the expense of working families, the U.S. military, energy security, our economy, and our environment. It's time to send Gordon Smith home to the farm and elect a Democrat who will fight for fairness, a strong working class, and a better future. I'm Glenn Geller. Thanks for listening.